And now, the Sleephawk Worldwide Podcast. Here are your hosts, Brandon Staton and Tyler Hansbrough.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Sleephawk Worldwide Podcast. This is Sleep Dawg with the Big Hawk.
What's up, everybody? It's the Big Hawk. It was a great weekend. Smacked our rival, NC State, if you want to call them a rival. We've been doing that a lot. But hey, man, we've got a great podcast. I'm super excited to talk UNC basketball with Sleep Dawg, so I'm ready.
As you can see in the background, if you're looking on YouTube, we've got this going in the daytime. We're recording here on Sunday about 11 a.m. A lot to get into. Obviously, big win for Carolina against State yesterday. Saturday at the Smith Center, we had a big game for RJ and a big game against Miami that we haven't talked about since we last talked to you guys. We'll recap that. We're going to look ahead, get Big Hawk's thoughts on Notre Dame, trap game, and Duke preview. Time to start hating those guys again, which not really sure if that ever ends, but we'll get into that and hopefully put the whole court storming situation to bed and call out of some funny stuff we saw on the internet about that. If we don't spend our whole time talking about Tar Heels, we might talk about LeBron getting 40,000 freaking points. I mean, holy smokes. Maybe even his son Bronny and his NBA draft prospects. And the fact that if you're still watching F1, I mean, come on, guys, get real. Be real with yourself. But before we do, we're going to talk about Autograph app. Gotta get out there and download that, guys. They're behind us. We're behind them. We're excited to be working with those guys. They're founded by Tom Brady. Autograph Fandom app gives you access to the best college basketball content, fan experiences, and exclusive rewards like discounted tickets for diehard fans, all for doing things you already do as a fan, like following your team in the news, listen to Sleep Hawk Worldwide. We're on there. Check it out. And more. Download the free Autograph app in the Apple App Store. Use referral code SHWW. That's referral code SHWW. See you at the game. They've also pumped out a promo that we retweeted and you need to know about. I think they're doing tickets to the Duke game for $16. That's what I saw.
It's big time.
So got to download. I mean, listen, you ain't sitting courtside, but you want to be there. $16 ticket to the Duke game is, I'm sure those are going fast. So the link is in the bio of our Instagram, bio of this video, bio of this podcast. If you're listening to it on Apple, it's everywhere. Use our discount, or not a discount code, but our referral code to download the app. And it really, really is, guys. Like, I mean, yeah, they're helping us out, so we're helping them out. But it's a cool app. You get all Carolina, dude. Sleep Hawk Worldwide, Carolina Insider, or Inside Carolina, all that other stuff. The one with Jones and Adam Lucas, you get all the news articles and all that sort of stuff. So it's not just like some random stuff. It's like really something cool if you're a Carolina fan and like keeping up with all things Carolina. So go check it out. All right, so Miami. We're going to start there before we get into the obvious. Sleep Dawg was in attendance yesterday at State, but Miami game was an important one. I felt like Miami, they've been injury plagued. At one point, they were 8th ranked team in the country, and they looked like it. Mm-hmm. Against us, they looked athletic. They were fast. They seemed really hard to defend. That game was kind of nerve wracking, but holy crap, man! RJ Davis, guys, I'm off to a good start. Like, I'm cutting down on the swear words. RJ 42. Broke the Big Hawks record. What did you think about Miami and specifically RJ's performance there, Big Hawk?
Well, we needed every point from RJ, and I thought it was an unbelievable game, and it was, it was just incredible watching him go off. But also, the reason why I liked him having a kind of like a exclamation point game, in my opinion, for the ACC Player of the Year, and also solidifying himself for that. But also, I think he's a first-team All-American this year. And I've always said that if you look at the landscape in college basketball, if you want one guy to make a shot wide open or try to create your own shot, it's got to be RJ. I think he's had an unbelievable year. But I'm super happy for him, and I'm proud of him to break my record in the Smith Center single game scoring record. But what I like in particular about what RJ has done is not a lot of players in college basketball or college athletics after a bad year actually stay at the same school, and they show that, hey, you know what? if you stay at the same program, work on your game, and come back the next year, like you can have a great following year. He didn't hit the transfer portal. He stayed loyal, and also he put the work in. He's earned everything that he's got this year. He's playing unbelievable, and I'm glad that we get to watch that. And also, he keeps developing his confidence, and he has a calmness about him that I've loved watching all year. So congrats to RJ. I'm happy for him, and I do think that I think he may break this record. If he has another year left, does he have a COVID year? Maybe.
But I would imagine.
Yeah,
he's senior
I think
this year, but he's got to have another one.
Mm-hmm. I would love to see him in, the Carolina Blue next year as well. I'd love to watch it again. But Sleep, talking about the Miami game. So obviously 71-75. Miami's kind of banged up. They had two of their best players out. And let's not forget that Miami was actually a Final Four team last year. And they haven't had the season that they've expected or wanted this year. And I think what Miami is kind of like in the process of is trying to get their guys healthy to make a run at the ACC tournament, because I feel like they think that their only path to get into the NCAA tournament is to win the ACC tournament. And that's what I'm suspecting that they're doing, by sitting their guys and trying to get them healthy. And we'll see what happens. They're definitely a capable team. I don't think that we've, late in the game when they started trapping, I don't think we handled ourselves very well with late game execution. It seems like we've shown improvements, and we've also shown some games where, hey, we can be really good down the stretch and we can close teams out. But this was a reminder that, hey, we still have some issues late game sometimes. If it wasn't for RJ, we might have taken an L. And I really think that he went out there and kind of gave us this dub. But when you look at it, also we shot 57% from the free throw line. We were 12 for 21. Some guys missed a lot of shots. Chad O'Meara, the big for Miami, he is a load, and he plays defense. He's very active. And what I think happened was you had, it got a little scrappy. And I will say that Miami had a bunch of guys that don't get these minutes because their best players are out. And they were hungry, and they're ready to capitalize on big minutes and try to get a statement win. That's what I think Miami came out more, as the hungrier team, and they showed it. But if it wasn't for RJ, we probably had an L. And I think that if you listen to what Coach Davis said post-game, you could tell that he was frustrated and he was ready to get to practice and try to go through it with the team. And obviously, I think they've learned from that. That was my reaction from that game.
Yeah, I felt like they gritted it out. It was, dude, it was stressing me out when they couldn't hit free throws at the end of the game. Because, Sleep Dog, the reason I like free throws is because that's the only thing I feel like a normal person can actually do on par with Michael Jordan is like make free throws, right? Make them down the stretch, different story, okay? Harrison Ingram, man, I just continue. You look at his box score after every game. Guy goes 3 of 13, 1 of 5 from 3, but he has 10 boards and 5 steals. I mean, the guy impacts the game in so many ways. I felt like, he is, he's the guy that's emerged, in my opinion, as the guy you can count on to be the X factor. The guy just has a nose for the ball. RJ was RJ. I think he was incredible. Obviously, it's cool anytime a guy, breaks a record like this, but it's more about the fact, like when you start thinking back historically, he's just etched his name in one of the best games anyone's ever had at Carolina. And I think everybody really likes RJ because he just embodies like effort, hard work, like no shortcuts. His demeanor is always pretty level, and I think this team's going to go as far as he takes us. He's sort of the North Star for this roster. And, he's pressure like doesn't seem to exist to him. And it got tight late and he did what he does. And it was a big win because we talked about it. Although Miami on paper isn't as good as they are, the eye test is versus the eye test, on paper is unfortunately what matters. And, you just kind of keep watching these games late, and as they have more meaning, you just start to realize, man, that, dude, the ACC getting written off like it has is kind of silly, because there's a lot of good teams, and we're going to talk about another one here shortly. One of them that I don't think fits that category, NC State Wolfpack. Not a terrible team. I'd say NC State this season is a very NC State team, which is like they have a great game. They can beat good teams. If they have a bad team, they're going to lose. A bad game, they're going to lose. They're about as average gets. Like, you look up average in the damn dictionary, plop, you're going to see, a Wolfpack in there. And I think that's what you saw yesterday or Saturday as you listen to this. So I was there. Shout out our boy Gus Fraley, longtime listener, was there with him, his wife, and their kid. Their kid, by the way, 3 years old, just gets it. He knew everything about Carolina basketball. It's funny. And on the Gray 11, the Gray 11s too. Oh, dude, yeah, kid was all about it, nonstop too. This kid wasn't going to sleep after the game either. He might still be awake. Shout out Ford Fraley. Damn, made me lose my train of thought. Basically, here's what was going on. So we're watching the first half, and State can't miss anything. And granted, they're getting a lot of open shots. I don't think we were defending the perimeter very well. But even great teams aren't going to hit every single shot they hit, no matter how open it is. They were making everything. They were 9-33 in the first half, which is almost 58%. They were 7-11 from three. I think we went into the half down 8. State closed on this big run, and even being there, you were just like, at least I felt. Normally in that situation, just nerves are shot. But I was like, well, dude, they're not going to shoot like this in the second. They cannot have an entire game where they do this. So I just never really felt any nerves. And of course, they come out in the second half and just like, they couldn't throw the ball in the ocean, stand on the deck of a Carnival cruise ship. Okay. They went 6-27 in the second half, 2 of 8 from three. They closed out the game and only shot 42% of the field and shot 142% in the first half. So, I think, that little scrum there at one point was the last thing that NC State needed, which was to sort of like, jerk Carolina's whole roster back into reality.
Sleep, I actually thought this was a very good win for us. And, when I look at, how we're trying to position ourselves to justify number 1 seed, I think a loss would solidify and actually prevent us from getting that 1 seed that we'd really like. And I say this all the time, is like, it's important to try and get the highest seed possible, because tournament, you want to put yourself in the best chance to make a deep tournament run. And I think the higher seeds obviously have a better chance of doing that. But I think there is a big difference between a 1 and a 2 seed, in my opinion, based off of experience in the tournament and what I think. But when I look at this, NC State is a quad 3 team. And so we have no quad 3 losses, and it would drastically hurt us if we were to take one at this point in the year. Yep. And the reason why I think this was a good win is because State came out really hot. And sometimes during the year, we've had a tendency to kind of come out stale and a little flat at times. I'm not saying that's like a reoccurring thing, but we showed up in the second half and we brought it and we dug it out. And our defense was great in the second half. NC State closed the first half on a 14-1 run. We went into the locker room, and in my mind, I was like, ooh, I got a little uneasy, but I believe, like, I have more confidence in this team than I've had in a while. And also, RJ Davis didn't really get it going in the first half. I think he had 2 points in the first half. So I was like, there's no way that's sustainable. Yep. And so there was 2 factors that played a huge role in our big second half. One of those factors was when Elliot Cadeau got into a little scrap or a little scuffle, whatever. There were some words exchanged with an NC State player. I really feel like Elliot responded and was like, "Oh, I'm ready," and turned it up even more a notch. And I think Elliot Cadeau, I think he had an amazing game, and I thought he was pretty much one of those guys that really ignited us in the second half to give us a huge lift. Let's look at here: 15 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds, and also 1 for 1 from the 3-point line. Like, guy shot 100%.
Oh, that was a big
one. Line. I mean, not a volume shooter, but listen. And the reason why I think that's important is because even though I think Cadeau is a much better shooter than what he's displayed this year, I think the fact that he's able to find scoring opportunities and still be effective scoring the ball when his outside jump shot hasn't really been falling the way that he wants, I think that's a huge attribute. And also, like, he's got to deserve a lot of credit for that. That is, he's having a huge impact on the game scoring wise and taking the ball to the hole, getting to the rim. Like I said, his ability to kind of flip switches and go from one speed to the other is next level. And that's what really separates himself. And he's continued to grow. And, as a freshman, he has more experience. And he's one of these guys that early on in the year, he'd make a few turns. He has really improved. And I thought this was a kind of evidence of that in this game. And his ability to turn it up and show us another notch after a little exchange with state player rival. I love that. But also the other factor is DJ Burns got in foul trouble. And I do think that even though DJ, for as big as he is, he has great feet. He has good hands, and he's an incredible passer. And he is a load on that block. And he is a mismatch problem. And it's a tough matchup for a lot of people. And he can nimble his way around to that left hand. And also, when you do bring help side defense to help him and guard him and you double him, he's an unbelievable passer. And he was finding people in the first half, making good passes, playing basketball, the way it should be, whatever they say. And I think him getting in foul trouble, I think kind of also turned the game around. And also I was hoping Armando would rim run to the offensive end in particular, because I didn't think that DJ was in the shape to really sustain that for a whole game. But and when I look at the free throws in this game, we really, turned it around. We were 23 for 27, 85%. When you looked at what we shot against Miami, 57%, 12 for 21, that gave me a little confidence. And I do feel like we kind of executed when we needed to. And I think when I look at the box score, your guy, Harrison Ingram, had a great game. 22 points, 6 rebounds. He's continued to do his thing. And I thought it was a big win, Sleep. And like I said, we can't take a loss to a team like that because it hurts our resume. And they got off to a hot start. We withstood it and, beat the rival.
Agree completely. There was some murmurs in the first half. I think NC State maybe had 2 free throws. Maybe they didn't have any. They were getting a lot of open shots, right? And so I was interested to kind of see, because that's where you always – dude, Kevin Keats has never seen a call against NC State that was justified, or a no call against the other team that was justified. And that dude was 3/4 of the way out on the court for 80% of the game. And it was to the point a couple times, and that was a thing. I don't think anybody, if you weren't at the game, you might not have seen it. But Cormac Ryan it picked up on it. And there was an inbounds play, and Keats kept getting he was trying to sort of get under, I think, Carolina's skin by doing this. And he's, sort of jockeying for position on the sideline with Cormac Ryan, who's about to inbound the ball. And before, as the referee's trying to hand it to him. And it was like this, it was childish. And a lot of folks that were at the game probably know what I'm talking about. But all those players on our roster are better than me, because, buddy, I would have swung out wide on a rebound or run down the fast break, and I would have Kyle Filipowski'd. I would have just acted like, Achilles, like somebody shot me in my Achilles tendon with an arrow on my way down the court when I ran into him, because it was just begging to happen. And I thought it was funny because as we go on and on about this court storming, just nonsense, it really is. It really could be a situation where you turn to run up the court, and this guy's not just a step onto the court. He's 3 or 4 steps onto the court, and if he's kind of like the kid that's mopping the paint and doesn't realize that there was a quick shot, and here they come, and the kid doesn't get out of the way fast enough. Like, that was definitely a possibility. It was just getting on my nerves, so I needed to address that. And I felt like yeah.
I was watching the game on TV, and at one point I was like, tee him up. Like, I've never seen a coach outside the box so much. And if the refs are going to ignore that, like, and you look at Coach Davis, he is inside that box. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You can't allow coaches, like, the box is there for a reason. Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't care. You've got to enforce it. And to your other point about him kind of jockeying for position against Cormac, I am not a fan when head coaches jump or make noises, in particular when guys shoot that corner 3 right in front of their bench. Mm-hmm. I think it is classless. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, Keats, but that is an awful look. And I think all of college basketball, I think that's unacceptable. If I was the NCAA, I would put my foot down. I think that's just classless.
And here's the other piece about this, right? Is like, if Cormac Ryan had said something, or anybody had said something or done something, then you'd have this whole discourse about how you can't say or do those types of things to a coach. I mean, and the maturity there was on the side of our guys by just ignoring it. Because there were times when NC State's running a half-court set, and Keats is at the timeline 3 steps onto the court. Like, legitimately 3 steps onto the court. And I'm like, guys, like, you can go out there and, like, it's like they were running a walkthrough out there. So, and there were times where I felt like he was legit. I mean, listen, I don't care if he's out on the court, it doesn't bother me. But, like, when you're literally in the way repeatedly, it was, like I said, it was annoying. And here they are talking about how kids shouldn't storm the court, when, as I'm going to get to here in a little bit, officially now, no one has ever gotten hurt there. Like, I felt bad. Like, I let my conscience, like, not go all in on the fact that Filipowski clearly didn't get injured, and said, I don't know, maybe he did. Clearly he didn't. And you're gonna chirp about that, but then you're gonna let this happen where it's very clearly a hazard. Anyway, point being is, I think you're right. The whole tenor of the game switched when that scuffle happened. At first it really did look like there was some hands to the face action. They went to the monitor, called a common foul, and everybody kind of freaked out. And then you saw the replay, and like, okay, maybe that was a little bit, like, not. I'd have been pissed if it was Carolina and they called it on us. There was an early common foul in the game where the refs just sort of seemed to not have control of that game for a long time. Shocker, right? But it just felt like they kind of let a couple situations get out of hand. But the funniest thing, actually, speaking of that, whether or not that hands to the face thing was an issue, the one thing I noticed in the Smith Center yesterday, which really made me laugh, is I was like, whoever's on the replay there now is the most unbiased source in America. Because I can't tell you how many times everybody, including myself, we were losing our minds. And you know how at the game, usually they'll only show the replay if it's in the home team's favor. Like, there were so many times just like balls going out of bounds and stuff. Like, they only show the replay if the other team actually touched it first. And they were showing the replay every single time. And about 75% of the time, everybody that was flipping out was like, oh, damn, yeah, that was out on us. And I thought it was hilarious that they just either they had a new guy that just showed it every time, or, they said, you know what, we're going to be what this country needs. So whoever the replay guy is at UNC at the Smith Center, he is what the country needs, which is transparency, man. The guy was just on it. Made sure everybody knew that what was right from wrong. I thought it was hilarious. Guy didn't get any credit. Anyway, what are we talking about, man? Kevin Keats get on the floor, the replay guy. I felt like game turned around with that scuffle. And we put it away. I still would like to see that one other notch, right? There were chances that we had to run that up to really put that game out of touch. I mean, we won 42-25 in the second half. Look, we blew the doors off of them in the second half, but we had opportunities to stretch a lead, and I think that's what I hope we take into tournament time is a little more of that. If we can just establish that killer instinct, now we got two big ones coming up now, and like you were going to talk about. We got Notre Dame next, and I think you look at Notre Dame on paper, everybody just laughs at them, but you have a warning for Tar Heel Nation, I believe.
Yeah. Sleep, you want me to jump into Notre Dame? I'll
go for it.
All right. So I consider this a trap game, and there's multiple reasons. Not necessarily that because we're playing Duke next weekend and a lot of guys are going to overlook Notre Dame. Notre Dame's a young team. Their culture is changing. New coach, Shrewsbury, came from Penn State. He's building a winning culture at Notre Dame. And you look at Notre Dame's record, it's not that good. They're capable of beating us. They're capable of beating a lot of teams, and do not overlook Notre Dame. They beat Clemson. Clemson's a very good team, one of the best teams in the ACC. Good quality win, but they play tough physical defense, and they really compete. So you cannot overlook Notre Dame. It's going to be a tougher game than what a lot of people think. And, yes, they are a quad 3 team. Their net ranking is 125. They didn't have the toughest strength of schedule, and also they took a lot of losses. They only have one quad 1 win. So it's not like they're going to make the tournament if they beat us. But young teams that are building a culture, they fight every single night. And another reason why I consider this a trap game is because it's senior night. There's a lot of things at play. There's a lot of, a lot of people have family in. A lot of people have, reservations for after the game, what I'm doing here. It's difficult on senior night to lock into the game and actually say, hey, this is the most important thing. Okay, I get it's my last game in the Smith Center. I really don't want to, let that marinate or think too much on that. But it's a difficult thing to do, Sleep. I got a little emotional when we played Duke my senior night. But I knew internally, like, hey, I got to win this game. This is an important game. And we've got to do that. And the reason why this game's so important and why you have to stay focused on Notre Dame is because if we beat Notre Dame, we secure at least a share of the ACC regular season title. And if, let's just say, I think if Duke were to lose and we win, I think we might outright win. We need to get this dub. And it would be big for us to secure that, especially after what we came off of from last year, and it would be big. So you cannot look over that. You cannot, good God, you cannot overlook Notre Dame. It's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, I agree with you. At one point, they were, 7-16 after they had lost like 9 out of 10 games. Tough stretch in the middle of the season. And then they've won 5 out of their last 6. Only loss was a 3-point loss at Syracuse. And as we know, Syracuse is a very losable game. So, they're coming in with wins against Wake Forest and Clemson, as you mentioned, and those are both 2 of the better teams in the league. This kid Burton is just showing up everywhere in the box score. He's their leading points guy, leading assist guy, I'm sure. Best player on their team just based on that alone. Yeah. So, I mean, look, they got players, and at this point in the season, you're right. The pageantry of senior night is always weird, because you don't want to do it after the game. And I mean, I guess theoretically, let's call it what it is like if you lose and then you have senior night, like that's kind of crappy. But then you always do it before the game, and everybody's kind of like, all right, well, this is breaks from. I always feel like breaks from routine are really interesting. And look, man, I'm all for it. Senior night, guys are playing. Guys have spent a lot of time, effort, energy that don't ever see the floor. But I don't know if there's anything on God's green earth that makes me more nervous than running out with damn seniors in the starting lineup in an important game. It's Duke game every year. I'm like, guys, all right, can we just like burn a timeout as soon as the ball goes up? Can we just burn a timeout and roll them off here? Love everybody on the team. But look, I think if you're a fan and you're being honest, that's one of the most stressful points of the entire season is in first 4 minutes of senior night. It's like, guys, just get me out of here alive. And we got a lot of seniors this year. So shout out to all of them. I mean, obviously, you come here, we're behind you. I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding. It is stressful. Now, we don't play Duke at home, so that's what everybody's here to see. It's officially that time. If you're listening to this, it is probably Monday morning. If you're watching this, it's Monday afternoon, and it's time to just remember how much you hate Duke. But before you do that, don't forget to download the Autograph app. I'm going to tell you about it one more time. You can earn points for listening to Sleep Hawk Worldwide. You download the Autograph app. We got the referral code everywhere, SHWW. I guess if you go on a computer and have to type it in or something. Otherwise, just use a link in our Instagram, our YouTube, and the footnotes to this episode. Tom Brady founded it. As we've said 1,000 times, just one thing in mind to change the fan experience for the better. The Autograph Fandom Rewarded app allows devoted fans to unlock the most memorable experiences and rewards. Best college basketball content all in one place. You get articles from blogs and publishers directly in the app. You can listen to top podcast hosts like Big Hawk and Sleep Dawg and what's his name? Jones Angel and Adam Lucas and all these other people that do Carolina podcasts. We love them all. Yeah, you can earn points and get rank and level up and earn all these experiences and stuff like that. It really, really, truly, guys, it's a cool app. Just check it out. I mean, download it and use the link that we provide. It'll take you right to it. You download it. You can see what we mean. So check out the Autograph app. Start earning points for listening to this podcast. Download the Autograph app and use your referral code SHWW. All right. Duke game. It is that time. And like you said, if we do take care of business in Notre Dame, we've earned at least a share. But we don't want to share. We want it all because we deserve it all. You know why we deserve it all? Because our best player doesn't go out there and act like he got hurt when he isn't and then turn around and do windmill dunks, okay? So before I jump into all this, I'm going to say one thing. I love Jay Billis. I really do. I like that guy. I think he is really he's so unbiased that he's probably too far unbiased on most topics. I have a lot of respect for Jay Billis. I think his voice is good on TV and radio. I like his personality. He's not one of those people I hate listening to. He was absolutely wrong about this court storming thing. And I don't think it was a Duke thing. I just was really surprised that he took such a firm stance. In my opinion, this court storming thing is so overblown. And I really feel bad for myself because I sat here on the last pod and I was like, I know he didn't get hurt. I mean, I know it. I see it with my own eyes. But you got to hedge in that situation. And I hate hedging. You're going to have an opinion. But it's like, dude, I don't know, man. Maybe there's something I didn't see here. Even if he did get hurt, I felt like it was his fault that he got hurt. And then he comes out and goes from an ankle, which I kept talking about last week. Then as soon as the episode comes out, it's his knee. And then after that, everything checks out okay. And then he says he's sore. And then he goes out and just is doing windmills against Duke. And I just felt like it was total BS, man. Like leave it to Duke to ruin something fun, like court storming. Anyway, so hopefully this puts this to bed because officially now, Caitlin Clark wasn't hurt. Filipowski wasn't hurt. So officially now, no one has gotten hurt storming the court. So hopefully that's over. I just had to get that out of the way before we jump into this hard-hitting analysis about Duke coming up because I think they are playing pretty well right now. I think Kyle Filipowski, as I said last week amid my tirade, he's pretty good. So we're going to have our hands full, but there's a lot riding on this because I think, again, got to play Notre Dame, got to beat Notre Dame. But you only get one podcast a week from Sleep Hawk Worldwide. So we're going to look ahead in hopes that we're playing for the outright title. But we're also playing for our number one seed. And I think if you win these next two games, you're playing for the fourth one, in my opinion. I think, I don't know that I could see that you might not think Houston should get one. But there's 3 teams with 3 losses, and everybody else has at least 6. So if we want it, we got to win these 2. And Duke, among them, I think you beat Duke twice, and they're a pretty good team. We made our case. Anyway, I've made mine. Go for it, Big Hawk.
Sleep. I don't want to share. I want the whole damn thing. And
Hell
it's
yeah.
just like my dessert. I always tell people, listen, you're not touching my dessert. I do not share. I want this whole damn
Zero.
dessert. And I know we're not trying to cuss, but listen, hey, you know what? It's Duke week, and we can't help ourselves. And the court storming situation, to backtrack and piggyback off of what you said, they handled it in the most Duke way you could possibly handle it, with entitlement, with crying tears, with the most dramatic expressions. And, oh, how could they? Oh, well, they did, because it happens. And, you know, you win the damn game and they don't storm the court. But you lost it. You should have seen it coming. And also protect yourself at all times. Floyd Mayweather Jr. And I will also say
all about that.
Jay Billis is really good at what he does. And there's not a lot of times where he has to backtrack or make light of comments that he made. To arrest college kids for court storming, I thought
Is that
was
what
one
he
of the
said? I
dumbest
didn't hear
things.
that.
He said you should put
Wow.
a barricade around the court and arrest everybody if you have to.
Gosh,
And
Jay, good grief.
I thought it was one of the dumbest, it just. I like Jay, and he's very classy, very good. He's the best at what he does.
I love Jay Billis. I really like Jay Billis. If he ever listens to this show, I hope it's this one, because I love Jay Billis. What a bad take.
It's tough because you're like, hey, Jay, you're wrong about this. And I get he's entitled. Like, yes, everyone should have their own opinion. I respect his opinion, but I think like arresting the college kids was a bad statement, and he's backtracked that somewhat and made light of it. But the other thing I will say is, like, I don't like his dialogue when somebody kind of questions, like, well, I think they should be able to. I really don't think that's a real receptive understanding of people who are in favor for court storming. I really don't think that he's actually even considered or been somewhat respectful to their opinion at times. And when he went on Big Cat, Pardon My Take's podcast, that was kind of a tough listen. It was a little, it got a little tense, that interaction. You guys should listen to their podcast.
I haven't heard it, but I'm going to listen to it because I've read about it. And I got to triple down on this. Like, I really have a ton of respect for Jay. But I've disagreed with him on two things, I think, ever. One, he went to Duke. Two, this. Other than that, I mean, he's great. So it was just, I think it's just kind of shocking to me because what it seemed like, because like I'm starting to get old about stuff, right? Like kids driving around with a loud muffler or something. And I'm like, I forget that I used to drive around with like subwoofers, made my car sound like a tin can in my neighborhood, right? Like, so I still, you kind of start realizing like, maybe I'm just getting a little old with that point of view. And I feel like that was Jay, like, hey man, maybe get off Jay's lawn there. But yeah, I thought it was a strange thing coming from him because I feel like he's he's quintessential, like see it from both sides guy.
Yeah. I mean, he was very passionate. I mean, obviously, I guess it's good that we don't have somebody that's so politically correct like a lot of times ESPN and some of these older analysts do, where they really don't even pick a side. They just say, I can see this. At least he took a stance. I respect that.
Yeah.
But, on to the Duke rivalry. And we're going to talk a little smack about Duke just from the fact of how they handled this whole situation. It was comedy to me. And, I never really talk bad about college kids, and I won't say anything bad about Filipowski. But I am in favor for court storming, and I've said my thoughts last podcast, and my stance has not changed. Regardless of everybody's, arguments for and against, I still maintain my stance. I know there's been a lot of debate since our last podcast, so I just want to say that. But also, Filipowski, and I just don't know. There's a lot of speculation whether he's really hurt in the court storming situation or not. I don't really care. I knew he was going to play. I didn't think he was hurt from the get.
Yep.
He is a load. He's a very talented player, and he is at times, you look at last year at the Smith Center, he dominated the game. And also I think he's a very smart player as well. And so he didn't have his best game this year against us in the Smith Center. So I think he's going to be ready to go. And also there's some young players, Jared McCain, one of the best freshmen in the conference, one of the best freshmen in the country. He got a little confidence on us late in the Smith Center this year. And then Mark Mitchell, I mean, he's an athletic guy. He can do a lot of different things. He's been playing better. And I've still maintained this stance. I don't think that Duke has really hit what they're capable of doing. I don't think they've played peak Duke basketball, and I still think they're continuing to improve and get better. That's what really worries me about Duke. We can't go over there and have the start like we did against NC State and expect ourselves to crawl or claw our way back into the game against a quality, more talented team like Duke. I think you've got to bring it both halves. And I think the matchup for me is going to be Armando against Filipowski. Can he guard Filipowski on the outside and actually not get in foul trouble? I think that's going to be big. And I would like to see Armando rim run and take advantage of him down low, put him in foul trouble, put him in situations, make him a mismatch on the other end as well. Because Armando, in my opinion, has that on the block. And I would like to see a big game from Cadeau. And the reason I say that is because Duke has a lot of good freshmen, and I think this is going to be a showdown, Jared McCain, Elliot Cadeau. I'd like to see that matchup, and I think Cadeau has progressed to the point where, in my eyes, he's a freshman of the year in the ACC based off the fact that we're the number one team in the ACC and we're in the top of the standings. I don't care about the net rankings. Guys, the net rankings has Duke ahead of us. Duke is 9, we're 10 in the net rankings. And that's why I always talk about the net rankings, but that's what the NCAA uses. And that's why I talk about it, bring it up. I'm not a big, analytical guy. I have the eye test, which I go by, but the analytics and the net rankings has Duke as a better team right now, regardless of how bad we smacked them in the Smith Center. We've got to go to Duke and get this dub, especially if we want the number one seed. I think if we get a win at Cameron and win a game or two in the ACC tournament, which I'm not a fan of the ACC tournament. We'll talk about that when it's on the horizon for next pod. But I think we have a legitimate shot if we win at Cameron, take care of business against Notre Dame, of being that number one seed. Arizona, they're that fourth number one right now. Listen, they don't have a quad one game left. There's not a lot of quad one teams in the Pac-12. Their strength of schedule is not going to be as strong as ours just based off that fact. And I think if we get this quad one win and then win a game or two in the ACC tournament, I think it should be all she wrote for that number one seed, Sleep.
I agree 100%. And I'll be pretty brief in my thoughts because everything you just said, I agree with. My biggest thing is on our best night against their best night, we're the better team. And I think that's true this year. I think we have the biggest advantage you can have when you go play at Cameron is we've got, how many seniors did we list out earlier? I mean, we've got a lot of experience on this team. And that matters, right? So those guys got to come with it. They understand, the ebbs and flows of that game and how everything can seem like life or death. You just got to stay poised, stay patient, play your game. You need a big game from Baycott. You're going to need big minutes at some point from Jalen Washington. You mentioned it. This is Cadeau's opportunity to sort of step into the forefront. RJ, you're going to get RJ things. Harrison Ingram, you're going to get Harrison Ingram things. I think Cormac Ryan tends to elevate his game when there's a lot on the line like this. So I think the team is in a place that it needs to be. And, you got Trimble's back healthy. Withers is playing a great role on this team. I think everybody's in their lane. And this is the time, right? Like if you want to be a national championship basketball team, it starts now, right? I mean, you've got everything behind you, all lessons learned. You basically got a chance to lose one more game the rest of the season, right? Is the ACC tournament notwithstanding. That's what I'm talking about. Like you lose one in the ACC tournament, who cares, right? There's more time to get ready and rest up. But it's now or never, dude. And I think this team has the ability to write a really, really unique story in the history of Carolina basketball teams. And I think they're a threat, man. They're not a favorite. Even if they're a one seed, I don't think there's a lot of people that are going to sit here and tell you that they're going to be at the top of their bracket when it's all said and done. This team's got what it takes. And if they just put it together, I think they can beat anybody on any given night. So we'll see, man. It's Duke week, dude. I can't wait. It's just the best time to be a Tar Heel fan for sure. So we got it coming up. And then, this is crazy. So look, we've gone through a lot of Carolina basketball here. LeBron James scored 40. We just talk about this for 1 second. LeBron James just scored 40,000 points. That's crazy. I don't really think that that's a record So I heard somebody say that the second highest active scorer right now is Kevin Durant, and he's scored less than 30,000 points. He's ninth ranked scorer all time in the NBA, Kevin Durant, which I think is surprising too. You know, you think about guys that are in here now, and just even to conceive of someone breaking this record, it basically at this point, I guess you'd have to think like Wemby or Chet are the guys that are like here and now. But I mean, you really think those guys are going to play 20 years in the NBA? I don't know. It's just pretty staggering, man. Like LeBron James, love or hate LeBron James. But I mean, that dude, I think people are neglect the fact that they're having an opportunity. It's the same thing with Kobe, same thing with Tom Brady, like just Michael Jordan. You don't get so many Tiger Woods. You don't only get a handful of times to experience something like this in your life. And this is one of them. I just think is there a record, I guess I'll say, that you think, I don't know. What is the one record that comes to mind when you think, hey, that record would never be broken in any sport? It's a tough one to
Sleep.
come
I
up
have
with
no
off the
clue.
cuff.
Well, just off the cuff of my head, I just remember when Russell Westbrook had all those triple doubles, and I think he was going to average a triple double. I didn't think that was possible in the modern NBA game, just based off of the way like it was when I was
playing. He did average triple double one year.
Yes, I think it was with Washington. Which I mean,
it was crazy
to average a triple double. Like I would say, at some point you would have to be stat chasing a little bit, and also DC wasn't that good that year.
Yeah, you got to be able to count a bad team. It feels like now.
Yeah, and I remember when he did that, I just didn't think that was. And I just wanted to say everything, to our listeners that Russell Westbrook is an amazing dude. He is. Now I know, like everyone thinks about the highlights where he's, has these exchanges with the fans. He's a different dude when he's on the basketball court. I ran into him and had some interactions with him outside of basketball, and we didn't know each other. He's one of the nicest dudes off the court, and he's a really good dude. And also he works extremely hard. And so I have a lot of respect for him. He's actually one of my favorite players. I used to love watching him play. So I have a lot of respect for him, but hit that averaging a triple double, I didn't think that was accomplishable. And all these stats that a lot of these older players had, and now in the modern NBA, it's almost more of a stat league now. It's just crazy what some of these guys are doing and scoring, and some of the stats that they're putting up. I'm blown away, especially with Jokic, the Joker for Denver. He's just a fan. Like, guys, you guys should check him out. Some of the things that he does and how easy he makes things look. And also, this guy doesn't look like, he looks like somebody on the elliptical at the Y. And he goes out there. He's one of the best players to ever play the game. He is fun to watch.
He looks like he crawled to the stadium through a briar patch, dude. Like every game, he's got like lacerations on his arms. That's the other thing that I don't think people realize is like, he makes it look like he doesn't even care. And he's like bloodied up by dudes, bruises and like scratches and stuff. I mean, the guy's a machine. He's like Ivan Dragoff in Rocky, the Russian dude. You just can't beat him. It's crazy. Now you bring up a good point. The Russell Westbrook thing. I just think that, it's 40,000 points is like the home run record, baseball kind of sort of thing. And like, hell, I don't even know what it would equate to in football, but LeBron just continues to do LeBron things. And what's amazing, dude, I wanted to end it on that, but I got one other question that's been burning in my mind, and I keep forgetting to ask. Okay, and it has to do with load management. Speaking of LeBron, I think this is my what I think is an actually intriguing angle to this. I get the load management thing, but LeBron has played for 21 years. I think MJ played for 13. And my question is, would you rather take your best player ever? I don't care if you think it's LeBron, you think it's Jordan, whatever. I think it's Jordan, by the way. Take your best player and say that guy load manages, but you get to watch him 5 years longer. I think that's the question that nobody asks, that I'm intrigued by. maybe we can dig in deeper in this because we're going to be forced to talk about NBA at some point here, guys. But that's something that I've been thinking about lately is with load management, theoretically, guys will have longer careers. And guys like LeBron that stay there 20 years, you get to enjoy versus a guy like, I mean, hell, I don't think Kobe even played more than like 15 right off the top of my head. I don't remember. But like, 15 years in the NBA is a long career, by the way. Very few guys get to 20. But would it be better you start seeing guys playing, having 20-year careers versus, I mean, imagine if LeBron played every single game and if he only got to play, and if he was already retired, we would have missed it these last years that he's had. A championship, 40,000 points, stuff like that. So I don't know, man. I don't know if there's necessarily a conversation to be had there here and now, but it just made me think.
I'll touch on it because it is a very debatable topic. But I just Googled how many years Kobe played. He played 20 years. That's unbelievable.
Okay, yeah.
And, that's a lot. But I will say the 20 years, the last years, it's not what LeBron is doing. For what LeBron is doing at this point in his career, this late and how old he is unbelievable and very impressive. And it should be respected, regardless of whether you like LeBron or not. What he's doing right now is like crazy. But load management, first of all, load management does not apply to college kids, in my opinion. I hate when you talk about load management with the college season. Listen, this is 82 games compared to, I don't even know how many games Carolina has played. There's back-to-backs in the NBA. They don't have that in college. There's much more travel. And also, there's a lot more mileage on NBA players' bodies. College kids are much younger, and I hate when they try to take the load management aspect and apply it to college because it's not the same thing. And college kids at some point should be college kids. And I hate when you get too analytical or too, hyper aware of what's going on. You've got to rest. I think that's overcoaching, which I'm not a big fan of overcoaching players at every level, and load management hovers on that. And so load management actually started with San Antonio Spurs when they had Tim Duncan, Monte Ginobili, and Tony Parker. So that's where load management actually came from. And the reason why I really don't like load management is because I remember how much I loved watching the NBA when I was a little kid. And I remember what a great memory it was when me and my family went and watched Michael Jordan. We drove 7-8 hours from Poplar Bluff, Missouri to Chicago, and we watched that game. And I still remember how cool it was to watch MJ get 32 points. And like some dude that I had watched so many games of with my dad, my brothers, my friends. And it was just such a cool experience. I could not imagine pulling up in Chicago and finding out that, hey, MJ's not going to play. I would have my experience would have been totally different. And that's why I don't like, that's why I don't like load management, is because it's a lot of these kids and these fans, and MJ actually talks about it sometimes when he talks about his performance. He talks about, there's somebody in the stands who've never seen me play, so I'm going to put on a show. And I love when he says that, because I was one of those kids that he put a show on for. And I hate the aspect, because it is so cool to watch young kids watch NBA players and guys that they watch and have that experience with their family. I think those are great memories. And I just hate the fact that load management may prevent some of those memories for those kids. Now, would it give LeBron a chance, to have more years in his career? I don't know. And the reason why I say that is because LeBron has played a lot of games, a lot of years. And he's actually fought against a little bit of load management at times. The reason I don't like load management, when you got a young guy that is on a non-playoff team and you're load managing him, I'm just like, come on, man, let him grow, let him play, let him hoop. This is overcoaching. I think there's something to be said about a guy who's had 20 years in the NBA. Should he play back-to-backs? And we're a playoff team. We have nothing to really gain by winning or losing this game. Are we going to just, roll with them? I think that's where it comes into play for me. And that's my only factor for load management. That's what I think. I think it's overcoaching. I'm not a fan of it at every level. The only time I would like it is with an older player that's had a lot of years and you really don't have much to gain by playing them.
It's an interesting thing too, because I mean, maybe that's how you can manage it in the NBA is after you have so many years of service, then you've got that thing. I was just Googled here. There have been 10 players in the history of the NBA that have played 20 seasons, and one of them is Udonis Haslem, and I ain't sure he touched the floor in 5 of them. He's been to the Heat for 20 years. But Jamal Crawford, Kobe, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar played 20. LeBron, Dirk, Kevin Garnett, Kevin Willis, Robert Parrish, the Chief played 21, and our boy Vince Carter, 22 seasons in the NBA. So I mean, like, and a lot of these ones in 19 are all. There's only one active player that's played as many as 19. That's Chris Paul. And there's some good, but not necessarily great players. Iguodala, Carmelo, Tyson Chandler, Jason Terry, Paul Pierce, Tim Duncan, Jason Kidd, Juwan Howard, Shaq. Shaq playing 19 years is also amazing at his size. Yeah. Charles Oakley, Karl Malone, and Stockton. These are Hall of Fame guys. Moses Malone's Hall of Fame guy. A lot of Hall of Fame guys. A lot of guys that aren't, though. And so, but you don't hear Jordan. I mean, Kobe's on that list. You don't hear some of these guys. I just thought it was an interesting thought that crossed my mind, which is, but I also certainly understand and respect I'm here for a good time, not a long time. And I mean, if you were around for a Jordan, buddy, you knew when you turned on WGN, you were going to get 100% effort for about 40 minutes. And it was a fun thing to be around for. So I guess it's all in what you're there for. Look, download the Autograph app. Go get some Jimmy Famous seafood crab cakes. I mean, we got the ACC tournament coming up in DC this year. I mean, some of y'all need to get on the horse and go up there to Jimmy's and check them out. So we'll be talking more about that next week before ACC tournament time. But you got anything else, Big Hawk?
Stay safe.
Stay safe.